You ready to begin, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, I think I've got this right. Okay.
For Charm TV, about to begin. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's Thursday, June 29th, 2023 hearing. The board has several matters before it, and turn it over to the chairman for any opening comments.
No, let's get started. Thank you.
All right.
Good morning, everybody.
Item number 1 is an announcement of the rules and regulations of the board. Maryland Code Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-210D requires the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City to review its regulations to ensure that the regulations comply with current policies and practices of the board and federal, state, and local law. The board is hereby announcing its publication of its proposed 2023 rules and regulations and formally opening the period for at least 30 days for public comment, as is required by Maryland Code Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-210B1. Upon receipt and review of the comments regarding the proposed rules and regulations, the board will make a determination as to the final version of its proposed rules and regulations to be adopted at a future hearing of the board. These rules and regulations will be posted on the board's website with instructions on where comments can be submitted, and that will be up today.
And the website address is?
llb.baltimorecity.gov.
Okay. Thank you. Shall we begin then?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The first item on the regular items, La Mi Amor LLC trading as La Mi Amor, or Amore? La Mi Amore LLC trading as La Mi Amore. Proposed premises is at 518 North Charles Street. This is an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-903 C2 little I, requiring $500,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities, 51% in food sales, and a seating capacity for a minimum of 75 people, but not more than 150 individuals. Applicants are requesting live entertainment, off-premises catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
For the record, Melvin J. Kensky
You got to push the button down.
Please, the one that lights up red. Do you have that?
You good?
I see that.
Fancy stuff.
You thought it would light up green.
If you stand long enough, it might turn green.
Everybody gets a speaking part here, don't they? For the record, Melvin J. Kensky representing the applicants.
Mr. Cadetsy, who's with you this morning?
These are, you can answer, give your name.
Hi, I'm Joycita Hinton.
Corrine Hill.
Ramesh Ramprasad.
And Jermaine Dillard.
So may I ask you folks to raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Good morning, everybody. So, Mr. Cadetsy, do you want to tell us about
Yeah,
this?
this is an application for a new license at this location. It had a license there for many years. It was known as Civil, but they didn't renew it, and they left, and we had to apply for a new license. The applicants in this case, one of the person who's not here has the experience in the restaurant business, was in Waldorf for a period of years. They've all been alcohol certified, the 3 licensees so far. They met with the Mount Vernon Belvedere Association, and for them, I've got copies of their menu, which I'll submit. Actually, I got extra copies for everybody, which is a novelty for me.
Thank you.
Maybe we can change it to those that are interested, that's Amore. And I have, I'll submit at this point, copies of the letter from Mount Vernon Belvedere. I think the original was sent to the board, and we're thanking Mr. Hayes.
Thank you again.
It's nice to get thanked. And a copy of the memorandum of understanding, which was signed by all the parties, and they'll be bound by the MOU.
Okay. Actually, we have copies of that, Mr. Cadetsy.
You have it?
Yes.
And there's a mistake in there, but we'll correct it, but it's not critical for this time. Also have the appraisal done by Mr. Johnson Melnick, and it has, shows that the entire situation is $1.4 million,
Okay.
and actually shows very nicely. Has their own parking lot next to it. It's not theirs, but they can rent it. And they understand that they're limited to 150 under the new legislation.
You mean persons?
150 people.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're requesting some light entertainment there, has a little stage area up near the window, and they'll be asking for the parklet at the appropriate time. There's one out there from the prior owner. I was talking with Mr. Veal. There's a little dispute as to whether you need zoning approval for a parklet, because he says it's the Department of Transportation, but we're working that out.
And will it be 51% food?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I had just a couple of questions. So first of all, I make this plea for all the senior citizens. If you're going to have live entertainment near where people are eating, don't make it too loud so we can talk to the people we're eating with. It's very, once you get over 70, you can't hear. And it's not, you like to have a conversation when you're having dinner. My other question is, what's a tomahawk steak?
Oh, yes, the ribeye with the handle on it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
How did I
that's-
miss that?
That's usually about a 24 ouncer. I mean, that would probably feed all three of you up there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Give everybody the benefit. I'll give you all benefit of the doubt.
So it's not, it's an expensive entree. Okay. Commissioners have questions?
Is the MOU conditioned to the license, the application?
That's what he said.
Yeah,
Is it?
mhm, yes,
Okay.
it is. And they worked it out. They all met, and they were very fair. And added to it, the next door is the retirement building. They met with those, and, they're very well received in that area.
No questions.
Okay. So all the documents that have been handed up here will be received in evidence. And on the basis of the materials that are contained in the application for this new license, on the basis of the proffer from counsel, the evidence received, and any testimony received, I vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, off-premises catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
You want to mention about the MOU?
Oh, and the license, again, thank you, will be subject to the terms of the memorandum of understanding with the Mount Vernon Association to the extent that those terms are enforceable by law.
Based upon the materials in the application, proffer from counsel, the exhibits received, I too would vote to approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, off-premise catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages, subject to the terms of the MOU to the extent they're enforceable by law.
Yes, based on the materials, the testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license, and also the request for live entertainment, off-premise catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages, with the license being subject to the MOU.
Thank you.
Mr. Page, are there exhibits?
Exhibits submitted for the record, MOU with Mount Vernon Belvedere Association, the menu, the appraisal from Jonathan Melnick, and letter of support for Mount Vernon Belvedere.
Thank you. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen.
Good luck.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council will receive instructions on how to obtain the license that the board preliminarily approved this morning. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
Item number 2 on the regular items has been postponed and will be scheduled at a future hearing of the board. Item number 3 on the regular items has been postponed and will be scheduled at a future hearing of the board, which brings us to item number 4, the Empanada Lady LLC, trading as trade name pending, 10 South Street premises, is located at 10 South Street, and this is an application to transfer ownership of a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license from a contract purchaser to a new applicant requesting live entertainment, off-premises catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Abraham Hurdle. With me is the two prospective licensees, Ms. Alyssa and Mr. Sola, for the Empanada Lady LLC. And I think the address is 8-10 South Street. I think we put it as 10 because that was what was previously listed on the liquor license for the use permit. It's one building with 2 addresses, and it takes up the first floor.
Just in case they're going to speak, can I ask you ladies to raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I didn't see there's a lady behind you. Okay, good morning.
The Empanada Lady is currently a small food service business, and I believe you're where in the city, your current location or previous location?
North and Howard in the
North and
Station North
Howard.
Art District.
And who is that? I'm sorry.
I'm Elisa, I'm the founder.
Ms. Waller.
Ladies, when you speak, give your name,
WALLBR.
please, because we're being recorded, and he has to take it all down.
And they've been looking for a new space, and they were looking for a liquor license, and this space became available. I believe this used to be LaCal, just around the corner from the old offices for the liquor board. They've been renovating the space in the last month and a half. Looks to be a beautiful space that's going to end up being built. They're all going to be alcohol awareness certified. They will try to make sure that all of the servers and bartenders are also alcohol awareness certified. They have several years of experience in the business, and they're hoping to build on that in the next few years. It's been interesting watching them and working with them to build out a full menu from their kind of limited menu, as well as cocktails and things of that nature. We've had a lot of talk about what a restaurant can do and what they can't do. They are asking for live entertainment and off-premises catering, and I think at some point, maybe the next 12 months, we will be back, ideally for outdoor seating, but not before then.
And what type of restaurant is it?
So it's authentic Puerto Rican cuisine. They're all my grandmother's recipes. The empanadas are hand rolled. We have several fillings from seafood, crab, chicken, turkey, veggie, vegan, and then rice. And then with the new restaurant, we're expanding the menu to have crabs and shrimp skewers and beef skewers and ceviche.
Oh, sounds good.
And where is your family from in Puerto Rico?
Maya West, the west side of the island where the university is. Yes, my family's from Maya West.
Good. And the type of live entertainment? You heard my plea
Yes.
not to be too loud for the old folks?
No. We have like ideas, a DJ primarily, but Mother's Day, maybe we bring in a jazz band. That would be it.
Okay.
DJ or live.
When Commissioner Reisinger and I come, can you tone it down?
Yeah,
He's
We're
got
working on a
you.
brunch menu.
we have a beautiful lounge space you guys would enjoy for like meetings and things like that too.
Sounds very good. Do you have questions, Commissioners?
I do
No
not.
questions.
Okay, thank you. Apparently, the prior licensee did not have violations, so.
No, they ran a standard restaurant operation. We anticipate more or less the same going forward, and
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council, the testimony received, I vote to approve this application to transfer this Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with live entertainment, off-premises catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based upon the contents of the application, the proffer, the testimony received, I too would approve this application to transfer ownership with live entertainment, but not too loud,
Yes.
off-premise catering and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based on the materials and testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership and requesting live entertainment, off-premise catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Mr. Page?
No exhibits for the record, Mr. Chairman.
All right, ladies, good luck.
Good luck.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council is receiving instructions on how to legally complete the transfer, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's preliminary approval by the board. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
Moving on to regular item number 5, Club International LLC, trading as Club International. Premises are located at 2301 West Baltimore Street. This holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for a 180-day hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202.
Abraham Hurd on behalf of Veronica McDowell and Club International. We're requesting an extension today so that we can get everything set up for a proper reopening. There was a tremendous mix-up last year where the liquor license wasn't paid for at renewal, but the operation continued on. In January, the liquor board noticed this anomaly and closed them down, as they rightfully should have. It's my understanding that we're getting to the point where we're ready to reopen. There was a BG&E issue, that's since been resolved.
You're
And I
not
think we
getting
have-
arrested for violating BG, are you?
There,
You see
BG&E's.
those 3 ladies they arrested?
There is, I have a few contacts at BG&E, and it makes things much, much easier, thank goodness. It's always an
So when do you
interesting
think they'll reopen?
We have a pending request to reopen. We didn't want to kind of pull the trigger on it until we were ready to reopen. It's my understanding the board doesn't want that and then to wait 6 months. They want it to be pretty much close together. I think that we'll be asking for that probably before the August ad, possibly the next week, but I just want everything else to get settled. And we're also going to be filing a transfer soon from Ms. McDowell, who is the city resident, to Mr. Windsor McDowell. Ms. McDowell is not doing very well and is in the hospital, and we will get all that resolved going forward.
I'm sorry to hear that. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Hurdle, on the basis then of your letter to the board of June 8, 2023, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve the request for a 180-day hardship extension for this BD7 license.
Based upon the June 8th letter from Mr. Hurdle proffer, I too would grant the request for a 180-day hardship extension.
Yeah, based on the material and testimony and the letter from the attorney, I vote to approve the request for hardship extension of 180 days.
Mr. Page?
No exhibits, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Good luck, Mr. McDowell.
That concludes this matter, and licensees should be aware that due to the fact the license is still in our office, it cannot be open, operating, and selling alcohol until that matter is resolved and the request to reopen is. So if you have any questions about what the law requires as far as that alcohol can't be displayed if you're conducting non-alcoholic beverages operations, Chief Chris Amalis, I'm sure, would be available to make sure that, or your district inspector, to make sure you're operating within the rules and regs.
Next case, please.
Item number 6 on today's docket, the Arcade X LLC, trading as Mulberry. Premises are located at 26 South Arlington Street, holders of a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for an 180-day hardship under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202.
Is there anyone here on this case? Were they served?
Yes, they would have been. 1 second.
It's odd because the licensee is a Mr. Kavanaugh, and the letter is from a Laura Summerson, also signed Michael Kavanaugh, but I don't know who got served.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to push it to the next docket?
Sure. This matter will be postponed to a future hearing, to the next hearing of the board.
See if, and I guess we better see if we got service on that.
Okay. Shall we move forward then, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Item number 7 on the regular items, New Ecstasy Bar and Restaurant LLC, trading as My Cousin's Place. Premises are located at 3925 to 27 East Lombard Street. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. And this is a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
For the record, Norman J. Kadensky representing the licensing and applicants in this case. This is a request, I don't know if you remember or not, there was a fire there, and then there was another fire, one right after the other, and the fire department's just giving us fits. I mean, they get something inspected, and then another one comes back for re-inspect, it's a different inspector, and they change what they said was okay. Talked to the contractor, he said possibly, they're very close to getting the last 2 items taken care of, and then they'll complete the transfer. Most of the other items have been completed. The only department is the fire department, and we can do that with an extension.
Did it have to be completely rebuilt?
The downstairs, pretty much, the upstairs was where the fire was, and then while they were rebuilding it, they had another fire, or the contractor started another fire. But it's all new equipment in there, everything. It's right on the corner there. It used to be Jenny Gebb's, my cousin's place, years and years ago.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, Mr. Knesty, thank you. On the basis of your letter of June 7 and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this BG7 license.
Based on Mr. Kadensky's letter of June the 7th and his proffer, I too would grant this request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Yes, based on the materials, testimony, and letter from the attorney, I also vote to request transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Mr. Page?
No exhibits, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Good luck, ladies. I hope you can get it straightened out.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Thank you.
Moving on to violations, there's one violation on the violations docket, and that is City Line Food Incorporated, trading as City Line Bar and Grill. Premises are located at 6506 to 10 Bel Air Road. This is a rescheduling from a postponement request. Licensee holds a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and has been charged with several violations of the board's rules, all stemming from an incident on April the 10th, 2023. Those violations are violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare relating to an assault on the premises, violation of Rule 3.02, cooperation with the Baltimore Police Department, violation of Rule 2.13, violation of the inspections, refusal to admit a board employee to inspect all the licensed premises, violation of Rule 3.03A, records, the alcoholic beverages purchases receipts, violation of Rule 3.03B, records alcoholic beverages sales for licensees whose license authorized consumption on the licensed premises. Violation of Rule 3.03C, employee records. Violation of Rule 3.03D, little double I, records, which is proof of an application for a trader's license, and that is all of them.
Okay. Counsel?
Abraham Hurdle, on behalf of City Line Food Incorporated. With me is one of the licensees.
Which one?
I'm sorry. I believe it's Miss Shefford.
Okay.
Scottish Shepherd.
And Chief and Ms. Shepherd, would you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Mr. Hurdle, will these be admissions or denials?
We would deny the violation with regards to Rule 3.12, the general welfare with the assault on the premises. Everything else, we would admit with an excuse. Is that what it is in traffic court? Admit with a reason? We're looking for a PBJ?
We'll allow you an opportunity to talk. Okay, who's going to testify on behalf of the 3.12 case? Okay.
Chief Chris Mouse, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
You got to swear in first.
He was.
Oh, he's sworn?
Yes.
Oh.
He's honest anyway.
On the night of the question, I received a call from BPD, the Northeast District, that there was an assault in the parking lot of the establishment, and that a female was injured and was taken to the hospital by a medic, Baltimore City medic. When I responded, the incident allegedly occurred on the parking lot of the establishment.
Okay. And other than that, do you know anything else about the assault?
Nothing else.
Okay. And did the police or anybody follow up?
Yes, so I apologize. I do know, supposedly, the female was inside of the establishment. She was singing karaoke using inappropriate words, racial slurs in the song. She was warned by other patrons to stop using those words. She continued to use them, and then it carried on outside in the parking lot.
The argument.
The argument, which turned into an assault.
Okay. And did the police come?
Police came. They're the ones that notified me
Was
to
anyone
come.
charged?
No, the person that committed the assault was not there any longer, just the victim.
Okay. Did you want to have her testify about that, or you want to tell us?
I'm happy to respond. I don't believe Ms. Shefford was there that day.
Okay.
In terms of addressing the 312 and the other claims, with regards to the claim, Rule 312, the incident didn't occur in the premises. Certainly inappropriate language and a fight that results as a result of it
So was
is,
this some kind of rap song or something that used
I think
racial
every once in a
slurs?
while you have a patron that maybe behaves in a manner that's inappropriate anywhere. Please.
The karaoke person is the one that provides the music. We have since asked and requested that certain music isn't played anymore.
Do you does anybody check before they start singing what they're going to sing?
Not usually, because you would just think somebody has common sense, but unfortunately
Oh,
not.
you don't live in America.
No, you're absolutely right.
This is, I'm not sure if the commissioners have been to this location. It is a little oasis on Bel Air Road. As you're driving by, it's completely covered from the outside, and when you get in, they have a beautiful rear patio area. The place inside is very, very nice. They have quite a large food offering. They operate more as a restaurant than some of the, not to criticize the open 7 days a week liquors and bar type places. But they are a family establishment. It sounds like someone was misbehaving, and it sounds like they went out of the parking lot, and the person who was asking them not to speak that way did more than ask, and that was the result here.
I mean, they don't have a history of violations. They've had one previous violation, and they've had a license since 17. So it sounds like this was an isolated incident. Do you have any reason to think this is a repeat problem?
The assault?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. You want to tell us about the cooperation issues?
On occasion, I have clients or a client, a licensee, who read the rules 6 years ago and may have a misunderstanding as to how they work and what they mean. I think that a lot of my clients don't understand that what would be a normal criminal rule or a normal rule in terms of search warrants and cooperation with the police doesn't apply when you have a liquor license. If the police ask you for something, you need to cooperate. You don't have to be the nicest person in the world, but I think on occasion there's, again, a misunderstanding. We spent some time trying to work this out. Inspector Chris Amalis, to his credit, or Chief Chris Amalis, to his credit, helped us organize a meeting with a sergeant from the Northeast. We sat down Monday to go over this. It has been made very clear to the single licensee in this question as to how things need to operate going forward. There's no longer any confusion. Ms. Shefford also has her contact information listed as well. In regards to the other issues here, trader's license, things of that nature, we have a trader's license that's up to date. We have sales and use tax. This isn't to say that the violations were improperly given. A lack of cooperation means you don't get the license, whether you have it or not, to the cops, and therefore you get the violation. We do have all the trainings, all the records, whether they're employee or wholesalers, traders licenses, sales tax licenses. I would put these in the record as an exhibit. I know Mr. Page appreciates them, but these are our originals.
So
and
the
we
issue was
have to keep
whether
them.
they were shared at the time on April 10th, and they were not.
They were not. That there's, again, this is a type of violation that I don't like to be here for, because I think that of all the violations out there, this one reflects the worst while having done the least amount of actual damage to the society and the neighborhood, but it hurts the licensee the most. Again, Monday, we met with the sergeant from the area. The licensee had indicated a concern about police responsiveness and something, and that's all been resolved. And none of that gives you an excuse to not be as responsive as the police or the liquor board needs. And again, the rules are different when you have a liquor license than if you just have a restaurant without one. All that's been made clear, and I'm anticipating that there will be less, if no, confusion going forward. This place will continue to be violation-free. They'll continue to do a good job. And again, this isn't a troublesome place. They've just had, every once in a while, there's a dust-up and these sort of things, and this seems to be resolved.
Your take on it, Chief?
So we did meet on Monday, and the licensee, the husband, did have
Shefford's husband?
The partner.
the partner.
Partner? You're not
Yeah,
married?
married.
Well, that's an issue. I'll leave it to your discretion.
He did have issues cooperating. We did have a lengthy meeting. He admitted his mistakes and his flaws. We did have a long meeting, about an hour and a half meeting with the police department, myself, the licensee, and the attorney. And I think that he definitely understands. We typically do not have an issue out of this location, other than that cooperation on a couple occasions. So I think that moving forward, I think he does understand. I think that the business partner / wife understands, and she guilted me that it's her birthday today, so, you
I think
know.
it's John's birthday tomorrow. Did you guys know that?
Happy birthday, everyone.
So I feel comfortable saying that I don't think that this is going to be an ongoing issue.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
Yeah, just out of curiosity,
Please.
where's Mr. Shefford?
He's home sick with a man cold, so,
Okay, man, cool, okay.
That you gave him?
no, I'm trying to stay away from him so my
Okay.
mom doesn't get sick and all the people don't get sick.
I've heard that having a man cold, and I've had them, it's worse than childbirth, so
That's what you think.
Does-
gotta stay home.
Does he understand, or the partners understand, I always say this, that the liquor license is a privilege? Does he understand that?
Can I comment?
Please.
I think the meeting on Monday actually cleared up a lot of things for us. Chris can be very stubborn, and he was having issues with response time with the police, and he was taking it out on he just was being stubborn. So we sat down, we had a conversation. I feel like we're going in a good direction. He does understand. I gave everybody my information as well, so if there are any issues going forward, they can contact me. But I think it also helped clear up some things. At this incident, Chris was there at the beginning, but then he left. We didn't what Chief Chris Amalis had told me was, we need to keep a folder that has all of our information, so when the liquor license comes in, or the liquor board comes in, we can provide the licenses of all of our employees and all the, like, things I didn't know that we needed to have. So now it's just one of those things, now we have a folder with all the information that can stay downstairs, so when we're not there, it can be provided. Not something, like, you don't know what you don't know. This was one of those things we didn't know.
Okay. Anything further?
Just on the assault side, have you, just again, out of curiosity, have you looked at your policy? Do you have security? Is the parking lot owned by you?
So this actually addresses one of the things that we did talk to the sergeant about was, they do have a pretty good camera system. We're looking at kind of reinforcing the exterior cameras. We're also trying to we're in the process of turning over the passwords to that so the police have access to it all the time. When you have to be requested, it can get kind of weird. Are you snitching? If they just have access, not really your problem. And we're putting a system in where it's just gonna be the exterior all the time available for police. If they come in, they can certainly get the interior, but they'll have 24/7 access to the outside. I believe the parking lot in the back is, and again, I don't want to, I think it's technically the post office's parking lot. But that doesn't mean that the patron, who obviously came from our location, wasn't. Where responsibility ends, I think, is sometimes a little gray. I think in this case, we would like to have been better in terms of our response with the police, possibly trying to address the situation inside maybe a little sooner. Ultimately, what two grown-ups decide to do outside, it can be tough to get a handle on that.
Grown-ups.
And you just, again, so was Mr. Sheffert upset about the response time in general or the response time by the police in this incident, or both?
I think that people have this view, I know that unfortunately I do in some ways, where if I call the police, they will be there immediately. And I think that's what people in some ways expect. Things are more complicated than that, and for any number of reasons, you know, whether there's real crimes or they're responding to the fact that Home Depot delivered the wrong dishwasher and they have to show up to deal with that, in my case, the timing may be different. But you want them to be there immediately. I think in this situation that there have been instances in the past when perhaps they haven't been as responsive, and I don't want to, I wasn't there. We're not in any way blaming the police for a lack of responsiveness with our testimony today. Mr. Sheffert had a view. We've resolved his point of view to make it a little more clear how to properly report things, how to address a lack of response if he views it that way in the future. And I think that should resolve kind of all issues going forward.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'm good.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the testimony received with respect to the first violation of Rule 3.12, I find a violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare assault on premises, on April 10, 2023. As to the remaining violations, which I'll go through one at a time, Rule 3.02, cooperation, Rule 3.213, inspections, Rule 3.03, small a, records, Rule 3.03, small b, records, Rule 3.03, small c, records, Rule 3.03, small d2, records. I find violations of each of those on the basis of the admission by counsel. The most important to me of these is the cooperation rule, and you can tell your husband, I'm sorry he's ill, but if he had not had this meeting and resolved this, I would have pulled his license at least for some period of time. We can't tolerate that. When our inspectors come out, if you have a license and you want to keep that license, you do it. So to me, that's the worst. As to my sanctions, as to the 3.12 violation, I'd impose a $250 fine and give them 30 days to pay. On the cooperation, I'd impose a $1,000 fine and give them 30 days to pay. And as to each of the inspection and record violations, $50 fine as to each one with 30 days to pay.
Commissioners, may I have a request 60 days, just given the sum?
Is that permissible, Mr.?
The board has the power to set the time.
60 days, all right, 60 days.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Based upon the testimony, and I find a violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, on April 10, 2023, and concur with the imposition of a $250 fine. With respect to, I find a violation of Rule 3.02, cooperation, and concur with the $1,000 fine. And with respect to, I find a violation of Rule 2.13, a violation of 3.03 small a. I find a violation of 3.03 small b. I find a violation of 3.03 c. I find a violation of Rule 3.03 small b, little 2I, and I concur with the imposition of a $50 fine for each of those, with 60 days to pay.
Yes, based on the materials and testimony provided today, I vote to agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, assault on premise, April 10, 2023, with a, what was that, a $250 fine? Also, violation of Rule 3.02, cooperation, April 10, 2023, $1,000 fine. Violation of Rule 2.13, inspection, licensed premise, $50 fine. Violation of Rule 3.03A, records, alcoholic beverage purchases, $50 fine. Violation of Rule 3.03B, $50 fine. Violation of Rule 3.03D,
I think it's C.
$50 fine.
It's C. C is the next one. And then there's one, then D.
I didn't do C?
No.
Huh?
Right. You have to go back to C.
Okay, excuse me. Violation of Rule 3.03C, records of employees, $50 fine.
And then D, 2.
Violation of Rule 3.03D, records of proof of application for trader's license, $50 fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Page?
Exhibits for the record, just one violation report dated 4/10/2023. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being honest with us, and thank you for having the meeting. I think that you saved yourself a lot of headaches. I'm sure you did. Okay.
You have a good day.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's received instructions on how to pay the fines imposed by the board and any attendant fees that go along with it within the 60-day period as ordered by the board.
Okay, if it's all right with Larry, would you read the adjournment?
Yes, Your Honor. Are we good? Okay. That concludes all matters on the board's docket today. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City shall stand in recess until Thursday, July the 20th, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. here in room 215, City Hall, 100 North Holiday Street.
Yeah, thank you to the commissioners and the staff of the board for everything today. And Chief, thanks for working that out. And to you and all of your staff, good luck this weekend with the July 4th. You have a good plan. I hope things go well.
Weather,
Yeah.
rain
Yeah,
is our plan.
That's a good idea. Well, let's hope it's a quiet 4th of July weekend. But we'll see you next time, July 20, I believe.